Montana Bigfoot here, and this is a Yellowstone National Park, and you're starting to see a little bit more of it, Bigfoot revealed.
How do we know this is Montana? It could be Wyoming.
The person that took it stated clearly that it was taken in the Montana side of Yellowstone National Park.
Is there a definitive line there saying where's Montana, where's Wyoming?
No, but the person knew they were in Montana. Well, we don't know for sure, but we got to take a person's word for it. If they
Somewhere
say
in the area.
Yes. I would imagine that they're Bigfoot in both states.
I would hope so.
Now,
they're probably crossing the border anyway.
I saw that show called Bigfoot $1 Million Bounty, and I saw...
Have they kicked more people off?
Yeah, they definitely have kicked more people off.
So who went home now?
The last person they sent home was on episode 5. They sent the 2 Indian guys home.
Did they?
Yeah. Now, you like those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
They broke it to them gently. Here's the deal.
Well, they probably lost 25 pounds while they were on the show, so they had to send them home.
One guy had an ongoing knee problem.
So it was a liability issue for the show.
No, I wouldn't say that, but it slowed him down. That was number one. Now, the problem those guys had was the last 3 episodes, at the end, they got called out, and they were on the chopping block at the end.
So they almost went home 3 times.
Right, more so than anyone else.
So they just had to go home at this point.
They
just weren't up to snuff.
They didn't seem like they were up to snuff because of maybe the knee issue. But here's the deal.
That's the guy that kept leaning on the other guy every time they would walk anywhere.
Right. Or be interviewed. The guy always had one hand on the guy's shoulder. But here's the thing. The last episode, they really were angry, and they were vocal. This was episode 4, and they were saying...
So is it violence that got him kicked off?
No, they were vocal. They raised their voice, and I don't think it's fair. They have that guy Michael. Michael's the guy that has the mohawk, the competitor that has the mohawk. They're at odds with that guy, and they think
that was when they had their little luncheon or whatever, where they took a break and they started getting in a little bit of verbal argument.
Yes, I think that might have been the episode 5, but the episode 4, when they were saying why don't you think you should be kicked off? Why should you stay? They were really upset. You know, we do our best every single episode, and it almost seemed like they were being persecuted. They set it up, and they were loud and vocal, and I think that swayed the judges to...
They're pulling the race card.
No, I wouldn't say that at all, but who knows, but I'm just saying that you felt a sympathy for these guys, and then for the 5th episode, they made it so they would be happy with their decision. And I'll tell you how they did. It was very clever on the judges.